Welcome. Welcome to episode 32, is it? Is it 32? I'm thinking it's
That's
30.
right.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Welcome back. Let's dive in. Dive into the unknown. Not the unknown out there, but the unknown within us. It's only the unsaid. As our higher being, or you might call it your soul or your spirit, is starting to recall itself in all its formless and diving into the form. It signed on for this human experience. It said, I want to go and play. And the divine of all that is and is not said, come on, let's play. I'll go with you. So that statement that you have heard a lot of old, that you're born alone and you die alone, you're never alone. Now, some people might not be aware that they're higher spirits or their guardian angels or their generational peeps in spirit form are walking behind them, sitting with them, standing with them, giving them hugs. They might not know, but that's okay. They will. And it doesn't matter when, as long as they do. The reason why I say this is because we spend a lot of time trying to tell other people what to be, how to be, who to be, when to be, and where to be. And we take no time about us. Hello, welcome in. So welcome into the embodiment of you. That's all Ra wants you to know. As we're going over his channeling and his opportunity for his channeling, their channeling, not just his. You see how I go back to the little I? He's a they. All they want us to know is that we're a they too. We're not alone in any of this that we do. But the glorious thing that we get to do here and now in this third density is see things through a different conscious lens. Whatever consciousness you're seeing it through, that's okay. You don't have to be the same as someone else. You can still interact with people when they're on 4D and you're on 5D, or you're on 6D and they're still on 4D, or they're still on 3D. You get to interact. You get to sit at the seat of your soul and say, why? Why am I in the presence of this person right now? Who do I need to be? What do I need to see? What do I need to hear? What do I need to activate within me for growth and expansion to happen? Even if the growth and expansion isn't for you. Right? So are we ready to dive? I see people coming in from you coming into the YouTube and on our Instagrams. You're here to take a deep dive. Are you ready? I know I'm ready. Are you ready, Marcus?
Oh, man, am I ready? I feel like it's been almost too long since we've been in an episode. Wow. It's only been a week, but it feels like it's been a quantum moment. That's all I gotta say. And I know I'm definitely ready to deep dive into the channel of Ra and listen to a little bit higher dimensional planetary knowledge so we can do a little bit of traveling within ourselves and explore a little bit of the depths of what the Law of One is and how the Law of One affects us as human beings here on this earth. That being said,
exactly.
Thank you guys for joining us for episode 32 of Ascending Beyond Limitations, the RaMaterial. Law of One. Back to you, Sandee.
That's right. Law of One. The one true creator that is all, and that is everything, and that is nothing all at the same time. Law of One is just the same as the law of love. Everything is happening in one now moment. However you want to be, wherever you want to be, whenever you want to be. Each person gets to express in the vibration that they want to express in the echelons of time that they want to express in. If they want to express totally from the past, you know they're welcome to do that, right? And if they're part of your story that you wrote, please remember, Ra wants you to remember that on the flip side of that 45, they wrote their own story. And they have you in a different position, vibrationally. And your opt-out clause is your free will to choose something different, to move away or move closer to a situation or a circumstance. The hardest thing to understand is that this was all chosen before we took form. Just the energy of it. Just the energy. So as we start on what Ra calls session 42, which is in 1981, the questioner, or Ra, greets the questioner. I am Ra. I greet you in love and in light of the one infinite creator. We communicate now. They're not saying that they're separate from the creator. They are expressing the creator in, through, and as them. We greet you now. The questioner says, I am going to make a statement and ask you to comment on its degree of accuracy. I'm assuming that the balanced entity would not be swayed either towards positive or negative emotions, or by any situation which he might confront. By remaining unemotional in any situation, the balanced entity may clearly discern the appropriate and the necessary responses in harmony with the law of one for each situation. Is this correct? Ra says, I am Ra. This is an incorrect application of the balancing which we have discussed. The exercise of first experiencing feelings and then consciously discovering their antithesis, I had to say that slowly, okay? Antithesis within the being has as its object not the smooth flow of feelings, both positive and negative, will remain unswayed, but rather the object of becoming unswayed. The feelings don't not move. Your energy and feelings become what you give them. They move with you. If you choose for your feelings to move against you, they'll move against you. Remember, energy isn't doing anything to us. It's doing everything because of us. Take what resonates. If you did not get that, as I read it, as it resonates, find out how it resonates to you. Because that's you unlocking your unknown. Okay? The catalyst of experience works in order for the learned teaching of the density to occur. So as you're learning something, you are teaching it. The student becomes the teacher, and the teacher becomes the student. However, if there is seen in the being a response, even if it is simply observed, the entity is still using the catalyst for learned teaching. The end result is that the catalyst is no longer needed. Thus, this density is no longer needed. This is not indifference or objectivity, but a finely tuned compassion and love which sees all things as love. This scene elicits no response due to catalytic reaction. Thus, the entity is now able to become co-creator of the experimental occurrences. This is the true or truer balance. That eventually, in some area of your life, you become truly balanced in seeing it a certain way that issues in the gift of unconditional love that comes from you and that goes to you in the situation or circumstance that you are in. That's the true balance. Is that you can see it from you can see it, feel it, be it from a perspective of balance, of unconditional love. Doesn't mean you have to constantly be in that vibration all the time, but upon occasion, this is how you see it. Right? Doesn't mean that you have to always be in a vibration of unconditional love. It's just sometimes you get to the point where it just makes so much sense that you see the expression of your other self having a moment of discord. You see the expression of the other you, the other self that is the divine expressing, and you see that entity. We call it entity. I get to the point where I'm calling everyone an entity instead of a human being, because I see the divine in them having a moment. And sometimes taking me out of it, it's not about me. It's about how they feel about themselves and how they're trying to get from one moment in time about how they feel about themselves to a new moment in time about how they feel about themselves. And they want it to be different, maybe. And if I just sit and see it as, oh, this is unconditional love, for me to sit and to actively listen without having a retort towards it, and just let them finish. That's the hardest thing I learned how to do, is let somebody go ahead and finish what they're trying to say, even though it's making me uneasy, because they're struggling for the words, and their words right now sound like they're attacking me, right? Take in that vibration of unconditional love. I love this person. This is the God in me, the divine in me is seeing them as love. Okay, I'll let the divine see love through me. Any questions? If you have a question, ask. It's not just to hear Marcus and I read to you and explain to you. Ask a question. Go deep into you. It's your deep dive into the unknown about you. Do you have a question? Or do you just want to ask a question to get it off your chest? And you want to ask it in a form of a question. And maybe you'll get the answer, maybe you won't. Always feel free. So then the questioner asks, I will attempt to make an analogy. If an animal, shall I say a bull, in a pen attacks you because you have wandered into its pen, you get out of his way rapidly, but you don't blame him. Do you have much of an emotional response other than the response that he might damage you? However, if you encounter another self in his territory and he attacks you, your response may be more than an emotional nature, creating physical bodily responses. Am I correct in assuming that when you respond to the animal and to the other self, is that of seeing both as creator and loving both and understanding their action in attacking you in the action of their free will when you have balanced yourself correctly in this area? Is this correct? Ross says, let's wait till we finish what Ross says, because you probably go, hey, I want to protect myself on either extreme. It has nothing to do with you not protecting yourself. It's how you see the action being taken at that point. It doesn't have anything to do about you not standing your ground and protecting yourself, right? It's how you see it. Ross says, I am raw. This is basically correct. However, the balanced entity will see in the seeming attack of an other self the cause of this action, which are in most cases of a more complex nature than the cause of the attack of the second density bull, as was your example. Thus, this balanced entity would be open to many more opportunities for service to a third density or other self. Right? The questioner says, would a perfectly balanced entity feel any emotion response in being attacked by the other self? I am raw. This is correct. The response is love. The questioner says, in this illusion, how we now experience it is difficult to maintain this response, especially if the attack results in physical pain. But I assume that this response should be maintained even through physical pain or loss of life. Is this correct? Ross says, this is correct and further is of a major or principal importance in understanding, shall we say, the principle of balance. Balance is not indifference, but rather the observer not blinded by any feelings of separation, but rather fully imbued with love. You can defend yourself. Love is there. If someone's coming at you, it's not that you're not to defend yourself. If there's a moment for you to understand using love why this person has entitled itself to come at you for whatever the reason, if it's okay for you to get out the way. It's okay for you to put up your hands. You have to decide what you're going to do with love. It's okay for you to say, hey, I don't want to interact with this. So with unconditional love, I'm going to go the other way. Doesn't mean I fear you. It means I'm going to take a moment to try to understand this situation before I react to you. It's the same thing with the bull. If you've walked into its territory and it might be in defensive mode, maybe it's not feeling good. Maybe it can't tell you that it doesn't feel good. And maybe, so many maybes. Then if you can see that it's in attack mode, Even your unconditional love is not going to stop you from getting gored, but your unconditional love is going to respect its place, and you're going to move out its way. And your unconditional love might help you move from a reaction of shooting it or shooting at it or doing something to harm it. Maybe you move out of its way, get out of its pen, and then try to figure out what's wrong. Do you see what unconditional love can do? There's infinite possibilities of using unconditional love for your other selves. Other selves doesn't mean that they're mimicking you. It's another version of the divine you expressing as another part of the divine. Back to you, Marcus.
Labradorite. Raw rising codes. Third eye chakra. Third eye chakra affirmation. I affirm that I trust and am allowing myself to flow with my intuitive instincts as well as my psychic extrasensory abilities. I am clearing any blockages that are causing resistance for my belief system and perception being in balance and wholeness. I am aligning my programming and my conscious mind with the divine wisdom and guidance of my higher self. I am seeing through the veil. I receive the codes and the messages within my experiences, and I see the solutions to my problems. Ashe. Ooh, wow.
Shay.
That turned out nice. Yeah, I'm gonna start playing some stuff in between. That's gonna be a great compliment. Wow. But
Yeah.
wow. As far as this reading so far, it's very interesting when you begin to look at life and you look at yourself as a, so to say, vibratory field rather than a solid, finite, physical thing. And also, like, physical doesn't even equal or mean finite either. And I know oftentimes in our brains or in our perception, we can kind of like think of physical as like a finite thing, but physical is always changing and it's always subject to change. And that change can be, slow compared to fast. It can be fast compared to slow. And, an example is like maybe like an old dresser. You have a dresser and, it seems like it's going to be that same exact solid dresser forever, right? But really what's going on is as time continues, it's vibrationally altering in the slightest micro ways. And that's why over time you'll notice like things will start to deteriorate, things will begin to rust, things will begin to break down due to that vibration. So then also, if you go into the Hermetics, the Kabbalion teachings, it talks about how everything has a rise and then everything has a fall. Everything has a life and then everything has a death. And it's just all continuous cycle. So that right there also is another reminder of how everything is continuous transformation of energy. Transformation of energy to different forms, different bodies, different states of awareness. And go even deeper into it, the law of correspondence. There's multidimensional parallel planes existing all at once. And we mentally, through our vibrational mental consciousness, are able to download and experience the time and space quantumly. And these are things that are now being studied by science in the mainstream. Um, just recently, maybe I'll just pull this up if I can. Just recently, scientists just recently did a study on dreams. And the study that they did on dreams was they were trying to see if people if they can talk to each other in their dreams consciously. Yeah, here we go. 2021. So they have this device. It's kind of like a helmet, so to say, and they put it on both participants, and then they go to sleep, and they have this like routine and practice that they go through before they go to sleep to help them get into the dream state. So then what they do is they set an intention, and when they go into that dream state with the helmets on, they're able to connect through the helmets in like a neurological and mental way while they're sleeping. And then they're able to send messages and communicate with each other directly in their dreams in a conscious and intentional way. So when I saw that, it made me really think about how it was to we could use, but it could also be a way to teach our brain how to do it on its own. So, through things like this, and with the way that our brains are able to capture and memorize experiences, we can basically download the programming or the technique of how to do it through that. It'd be like a training program almost, if we're, thinking in that type of way. And that's pretty powerful. That's pretty cool. If you're able to just practice and sharpen that by utilizing that device, and then after a while you stop using it because you'll learn how to do it on your own from it. And then you're able to consciously and intentionally go into the astral, go into the dream state, and be able to send messages and communicate with others. I mean, that'd be interesting. Like that would be such a game changer on the scope of our reality and the things that we would be able to assimilate and manifest into the physical through that type of consciousness in the astral. That would be that'd be intriguing.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, haven't you ever had such a vivid dream about someone, and then they call you, and they call you, or you see them, you not expecting to see them, and you have that conversation, and you go, yeah, you know, I had, and then they'll say, I had this, I saw this, and you're sharing part of this. This dream state is just another uh, 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 another part of your realm that you get to play in, right? A dream state allows two things to happen, or three things. It gives your body time to rest, recoup, replenish, rejuvenate, regenerate. I know I'm naming more, but at that same time, it also allows for the universe to allow you to have a restart. The universe, while your body is sleeping, kind of allows you to have a reset. You get to go, your soul or your higher being gets to go play in other areas while your body is kickstarting itself. Then when it comes back into play, now one or two things happen. Either your higher being is still on high gear and reminding you, I did this and we did this, and recalling it to you, and you wake up without having your ego try to explain it to you in a straight line. And you remember more. It's only you remember more of what your higher being has shared with you, that it's done in that dream state, and you remember your dreams. I know that when I try to remember my dreams, sometimes my ego has already made sense with it. Oh, that's a dream. That couldn't have really happened. But at that crest of what you call it, that slumber crest where you're half awake and you're half asleep, you have the opportunity to ask your higher being, where do we play? And your higher beings go, you want to hear about it? Let me tell you where I went. Right? And all that information, that's where a lot of people call their downloads. That's what people call their downloads, or I call them implodes, because I believe everything is already in there for me to play at. All the dimensions are there at my beck and call. So we have that, just like we don't have to, it's great that scientists are figuring this out, that they have to use apparatuses to do this. But just like Marcus said, we have the ability to do that without all the contraptions. It's built in us. That's all Ra is saying. Ra is saying, if you do anything from the unconditional love state, the state of the law of love or the law of one, we can see what other people are trying to say to us about their other selves. We get to see it, and we can eventually move away from having a reaction to it and having a right action, or you can just say a right discernment, vibrationally, in the vibrational movement of love. Doesn't mean that if somebody's coming at you with an axe that you don't turn and run. Hell to the yes, you turn and run. Figure that shit out later. But you figure out why that other version of you is in that tirade, or that, do it at your own safety. Ra isn't telling you to die unnecessarily. Ra is saying, using unconditional love, just like, okay, perfect example. Jesus, right? And we all know that Jesus, that's not Jesus's name. We're all whatnot. Let's not go into the particulars. But Jesus, when he was on the cross, he said to his Father, that's what they called him, his Father, but he said to his other self, that is his self, he said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They don't understand it. That's unconditional love. That's all he did, was unconditional love. He was on the cross, he was dying, he was bleeding, but he said, I'm not going to hold this against them, so don't you hold it against them. He was being the I and the I in the everything that is nothing, and saying they don't understand what they're doing. They don't get it yet. What's done is done. I still love them. I'm quite sure that there are other deeper meanings that vibrationally are there that maybe even the Hermetic principles explain a little bit. We can ask Marcus to explain it from that part of it, because everybody's going to see it a different way. This is why we have all these different ways and all these different books to show us what the law of one is, to show us what the law of unconditional love really is, how it's operate. It is operating. We don't have to operate it. We just step into the flow of it. But it is always operating. And when we step into the flow of it, you can feel the vibration of it when you start to see other people as not your enemy, but just as a other self that is the divine expressing itself in a certain way right now. Doesn't have to be happy, doesn't have to be sad. That's what makes them feel whatever they're feeling. But that's how you get to decide whether you're going to be reactionary or whether you're going to sit down and or at least try, if you're in a certain situation where you can step back and discern and decide what the right action is for you to take. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this over to Marcus so that he can give you the Hermetic, maybe the Hermetic version of love, as Jesus said, forgive them for they know not what they do. That's my unconditional love. I can't hop off this cross and beat their ass. So forgive them for because they don't know what they're going to do. Does that make sense? I don't know. Is it something that vibrates for you right now at this minute? I don't know. Ask a question. Ask us a question.
That was funny.
I'm just saying. It hurts to laugh.
But yeah, it's so true. And also, like, this is another thing that's not really talked about much, is this kind of perspective of also it's like a very wise and intelligent way of spiritually allowing his self through his spirit to not attach to that earthly energy and take on the karmic energy of that. Because when you choose to just forgive, you choose to let go, you detach from that experience, and then it doesn't become like a traumatic carrying through your consciousness when your spirit travels to the next phase for you. I don't know, that just came through. And that's definitely like a Buddhist type of teaching right there. Tibetan, ancient, even like Taoist type of teaching. And if we really know about the walk of Jesus or Yeshua, whichever you like to call him, he traveled to many different points in the world and sat with many different cultures and teachings to acquire the knowledge that he was able to embody and teach to others. And it's a really interesting perspective. But I have for you guys here a little bit about the all that we are.
Have you ever wondered about the true nature of the universe? Ever thought about your place within it and how your thoughts might be more influential than you've ever imagined? What if I told you that the power to shape your reality might actually lie within your mind? Welcome back to Conscious Power, where we dive into the inner workings of the mind in an effort to unlock its full potential. In this video, we're going to dive deep into ancient knowledge and wisdom of the Kybalion. Our journey today will explore chapters 3 through 5 of the Kybalion, in an effort to unpack the concept of the all is mind. Our exploration of this captivating concept may revolutionize your understanding of the universe, your place within it, and the incredible power of your own mind. Buckle up, because this is going to be an enlightening journey. Before we journey through the chapters, it's crucial that we lay down some groundwork. So let's unpack this colossal idea of mentalism. Now, don't let the term intimidate you. Mentalism is a principle at the heart of the Kabbalion, and it's a profound concept that I think you'll find pretty mind-blowing. Here's the thing. The Kabbalion tells us that the universe, that's every star in the sky, every grain of sand on the beach, every thought that you think, is, in essence, mental. It exists within the mind of what the text refers to as the all. Now, imagine this. All around us is a grand symphony, a concert of cosmic proportions, with each note, each melody, each crescendo composed by the mind of the universe. Every sunrise and sunset, every laughter and tear, every dream and fear, they're all integral parts of this symphony. And here's the beautiful part, the part that really gives you a sense of awe. You and I were not just audience members in this cosmic concert. We're part of the orchestra. Each of our thoughts, our emotions, our actions are like individual notes that contribute to the grand symphony that is the universe. Just take a moment to let that sink part of it. You're creating music in this grand, every decision you make. Intrigued? Excited? Let's explore what this means for us as we dive into the chapters of the Kabbalion. All right, now we're getting to the meat of things.
The Kabbalion.
Chapter 3 of the Kabbalion unveils a captivating concept called mental transmutation. Big words, right? But stick with me here. It's simpler than it sounds. Mental transmutation is about changing the tune of your mental symphony. It's about shifting your mental state. But how does that work, you ask? Well, let's break it down. Ever had one of those moments where a shift in perspective completely changed how you viewed a situation? You know, those moments where the pieces just seem to fall into place and everything suddenly makes sense? It's like changing the station on your mental radio from gloomy blues to upbeat pop. But here's where it gets even more exciting. The Kabbalion suggests that our capabilities go beyond merely adjusting our own mental state. It's saying we can actually influence the world around us with our mental transmutations. Imagine this, your thoughts, emotions, and intentions serving as a conductor's baton, directing the symphony of your reality. With every flick of this baton, you influence the music of your life and contribute to the grand cosmic symphony. Pretty mind-boggling, isn't it? Now let that sink in. Ponder on it. How do you feel knowing that your mental state can shape not just your reality, but ripple out and contribute to the universe? Intriguing, provocative. Let's hold on to that thought as we journey further. Now, are you ready to dive deeper? Chapter 4 takes us on an introspective journey where we encounter a profound concept, the all. It's a term that might seem abstract at first. The all is this comprehensive idea that embodies everything in existence. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Every star, every atom, every thought, every emotion, every moment in time, every corner of space. But the all isn't just a vast container of things. No, it's much more profound than that. The all is mental in nature. Now, doesn't that echo our earlier discussion? The universe is indeed a product of mind, but here's where it really hits home. This isn't just some distant, abstract concept. It's very personal because guess what? You and I, we're an integral part of the all. We are intrinsically linked to this universe, inseparable from its wisdom, its experiences, its nature. Now pause for a moment and really think about this. What does this mean for you and me? What doors of understanding and potential could swing open if we fully embrace this connection to the all? How might this shape the way we think, feel, and act? Quite a thought, isn't it? This is the crux of the Kybalion. It's not just about understanding these principles intellectually, but also about contemplating their implications on a personal level. Exciting, right? So let's keep exploring. All right, friends, here we are at Chapter 5, where we get to grapple with the concept of the mental universe. This chapter truly crystallizes the ideas we've been exploring together. So what's the mental universe? Essentially, it takes the ideas we've discussed and says, hey, you know this vast, complex universe we're all a part of? Well, at its very core, it's a mental creation. Sounds big, right? But let's break it down. Remember the all and how we're an integral part of it. Well, Chapter 5 reiterates this connection, but it also emphasizes that we are not just passive observers in this grand cosmic orchestra. We are active contributors. Each thought we have, each belief we hold, each perception we foster plays a significant role in shaping this mental universe. Now, remember, this isn't about dismissing the physical world around us. It's not saying that our chairs, trees, or mountains aren't real. Rather, it's highlighting that our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions hold immense power in shaping how we experience and interact with our reality. So think about this. If we understand that our reality can be shaped by our minds, how might this change the way we perceive our lives? What might we do differently? What perspectives might we shift? How could our personal symphony contribute to the grand cosmic concert? Chew on that for a bit. It's a significant concept to grasp, but also an incredibly empowering one. It places us at the center of our universes, giving us a powerful role in shaping our reality. All right, fellow seekers of wisdom, that's where we'll pause for now. But don't worry, our journey through the Kybalion is far from over. We've journeyed through the power of our minds and the impact our thoughts can have on our reality. Powerful stuff, isn't it? So what do you think? Has your perception shifted? Do you see the potential of your thoughts and the reality they can manifest? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So drop a comment below and let's kickstart a fascinating discussion on the power of
Ooh. We have this, we are threefold. We are spirit, body, and mind. And there's information for how we use all three of them, how we blend and merge them so that the divine gets the wholeness of the entity that we are. It's not telling us that because everything is a mental thing, that we don't deserve to use it. We don't deserve to play in that playground. It's saying that because we are human beings and we are always the ones asking the questions, why, who, why are we really here? The divine has to give us answers, and the divine comes through books, and it comes through audio books, and it comes through documentaries, and it comes through people having implodes and downloads and explodes and getting excited about it, and having very different avenues to meet us where we're at. Even in my younger years, in order to know God, I grew up in a Baptist background. That's my introduction to that there's more than just me. That I was on the path to seek wholeness. But I knew that there was more than just me. It was just being explained the way that was going to make me answer another or ask another question. React to an answer that went, no, that's not satisfying me. That's not quenching my thirst. Let me ask it a different way. It doesn't mean I need to go and poo-poo everybody that led me, that did something to lead me on the path of knowing something else. That's what unconditional love is. It's saying, okay, I get you. You're not for me. I don't have time to pull you apart and put you back together, but I'm going to forgive you for you because you knew not what you needed to do. In my case, see you later. I'm going to forgive you because you know not what you're doing. That is for my highest and greatest good, and I'm going to move on. And you get to think about it. You get to ponder it. You get to take it and think of it this way. Your mind is in every cell of your body. Your brain is what houses it, the thoughts and the information. It's an information center, that information of energy moving in and through it. But your brain is in every cell of your body. Your brain is in your, or not your brain, but your mind is in your toe when you stub your toe, because it sends messages up to your brain that you stubbed your toe. Your brain sends back, will say ow, or squeeze your toe, or go get some ice, or yell at yourself. A lot of people do different things when they stub their toe, but your brain is this magnificent center that takes all the energy in and moves it around. And your brain is so miraculous, it saves this information for you. So you can go back and say, what did I do before? It gives you all the images. And all Ra is saying is, that's not wrong. We gave it to you for a reason. So that you could, the law of one is the law of unconditional love. For the divine loved itself so much, that it wanted to have a physical encounter of itself. She mentioned stub your toe, and my husband literally just did that a few minutes ago. I'm telling you. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. And when he stubbed it, did he either yell or he went? Those are reactions that you get to have. Not a negative, not a positive, just a reaction that you're having about living life. About living life. I.e., when I had my surgery yesterday, it was scary because it was an unknown. There wasn't anything wrong with it about it being scary. It did not make me any less spiritual, or it didn't make me any less whole with the divine. It put me in an opportunity to meet some great people who called themselves my care team, who had their expertise that they were willing to use, and look me in the eye and say, I got you. And it was all right, because they made me laugh. They helped me help. They didn't make me do anything. They helped me to see laughter, things that I could laugh about, things that I could feel strong, and it was all about the medicine. It was about me expressing my spirituality and the vibrations that I wanted to feel, see, and be while I was there. And And I got to allow that vibration of me seeing unconditional love from my other selves that were the anesthesiologist, that was the head nurse, that was the pre-op nurse, that was the surgeon. I got to see them in my other selves with the skills and the gifts and the talents that they had. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Yes, it does hurt. I'm not moving my body as much, and it you know, it's what I got to go through to heal. But it's the gift of seeing other selves. I can now see other people as my other self with a gift and a talent that is for my highest and greatest good as well. Not separate from saying, oh, they're the doctors and they're just doing this because they want to make money. No, if I saw it that way, I wouldn't be healing, because I'd be sitting in judgment. Judgment doesn't heal. Not to say I'm not telling you not to judge. Ra is just saying that these gifts that we are given, this vibration that we're given, this information that we are given, it's not given to you to scare you. It's given to you so that you can have a discernment about where you want to go from there with it. How you want to grow and expand. And if you want to grow and expand, the divine is saying your wish is my command. Let's grow and expand. But if you don't want to grow and expand, if you want everything to be exactly the way it is for forever and not change, then resist it. That which you resist will persist, but you don't have to change. Hello. Right? Welcome in, those who are coming in. So the next thing Ross says, the questioner says, in the last session, you made the statement that, and he's saying what Ross said, we that is Ra spend much time / space in the fifth density, balancing the intense compassion that we had gained in the fourth density. Could you expand on this concept with respect to the material you just discussed? So I'll try. The divine wants me to break it down. He says that Ross said, we that call ourselves Ra spent much time and space in the fifth density, balancing the intense compassion that we had gained in the fourth density. Could you explain? That's what the questioner is asking. Ra says, I am Ra. The fourth density, as we have said, abounds in compassion. This compassion is folly when seen through the eyes of wisdom. It is the salvation of third density. It is the salvation of third density, but creates a mismatch in the ultimate balance of the entity. Thus, as a social memory complex of fourth density had the tendency towards compassion, even to martyrdom in aid of other selves. When the fifth density harvest was achieved, we found that in this vibratory level, flaws could be seen in the efficiency of such unrevealed or unrelived compassion. We spent much time and space in contemplation of those ways of the Creator that imbued love with wisdom. Right? And remember, In book 1, Ra is a fourth density complex. He's not just a fourth density complex. He's not just a fifth density complex. He's a sixth density complex. They were a complex. We are beingness. We are body, mind, soul beings. They're a complex of their whole planet transitioned into the all, into sixth density. They went through all the densities. And before they could merge back with the divine, they said, no, we want to go back and help Earth consciousness and humanity to shift and evolve. They made the choice not to merge back with the divine. They had met all the criteria to merge back with the divine. That's why they're channeling now, because they choose not to lay foot, so to speak, on Earth consciousness or with humanity. They chose to do it as a sixth density complex, social complex. Maybe hard to understand right now, but the divine is being all things all at once. It's in other galaxies as well, merging with itself there. So Ra goes on to say, thus we, as a social memory complex of fourth density, at the time that this book was written, he was talking about fourth density, had the tendency towards compassion, even to martyrdom, in aid of other selves. When the fifth density harvest was achieved, that's when they achieved fifth density, we found that in this vibrational level, flaws could be seen in the EFFICACE of such unrelived compassion. We spent much time and space in contemplation of those ways of the Creator that imbued with wisdom. The questioner asks, I would like to try to make an analogy of third density of this concept. Many entities here feel great compassion for reliving the physical problems of third density, other cells by administering to them in many ways. With food, if there is hunger, as there is now in African nations, by bringing them medicine and feel that there is a need for ministering to them medically and being selfless in all these service to great extent. This is creating a vibration that is in harmony with green rays and fourth density, but it is not balanced with the understanding of fifth density, that these entities are experiencing catalysts, and more balanced administration to their needs would be provided them with the learning necessary to reach the state of awareness of fourth density than it would be to minister to their physical needs at this time. Is this correct? Ross says this is incorrect. To a body, mind, spirit complex which is starving, the appropriate response is the feeding of the body. You may extrapolate from this. On the other hand, however, you are correct in assumption that the green ray response is not as refined as that which has been imbued with wisdom. with wisdom enables the entity to appreciate its contributions to the planetary consciousness by the equality of its being without regard, activity, or behavior which expects results upon visible planes. Back to you, Marcus.
Ooh wee. Violet flame break.
Violet flame break.
So I've been called to come front and center and show 2 chakras for us. 2 chakras. Well, before I begin these chakras, everybody in the comments, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are, thank you all for being here. And I love you all. And I hope you receive that through your hearts in this moment. And I want to say, how are we feeling tonight? How has this space been? How has this episode been for you? Feel free to put it in the comments. I'd love to see your guys' feedback. If you guys want to share some hearts, share some love, appreciate it. And send some hugs and some love to our wonderful sister Sandee here, as she is regenerating and becoming stronger and moving into a new powerful chapter of her life. I love you all. Thank you. And I love you, Sandee.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you. I love you all. I love you all for being here. It's a wonderful moment in time, you know. Wonderful moment.
That's right.
You know, to open up, you know, to allow your chakras to just vibrate. Right?
Look at the love. You got the love in the comments. VP, Lulu, Casey on my side. She said, I feel like I'm sitting with you two right now, and I'm grateful to see Sandra shining. Love you both. Casey.
Thank you, Casey.
My heart is so swelled right now.
Yeah.
So, new chapters and new horizons, I'm telling you. It's even in the stars and in the signs for all of us. And I was going to show you guys 2 chakras. And this first chakra, these are going to relate with, I wouldn't say the brain exactly. I mean, it relates to the brain, of course, but it relates to the mind. And this first chakra that I'm going to be covering here, this one goes over the subconscious mind. And that be the causal chakra. So the causal chakra, for everybody out there, let me go ahead and make this a little bit bigger for all of you too. There we go. So the causal chakra, it is located in the back of the head, kind of like the top, middle-ish of the back of the head. And the traits for this energy center or chakra. So just to break down a chakra real quick for anybody out there that could be kind of new to what a chakra is. A chakra is a wheel of light or a wheel of energy or a energy center. And we have multiple energy centers throughout our human body. And some of these smaller energy centers are known as our meridian points throughout the body. So that's what an energy center is. These energy centers are also basically gateways or bridges for our emotions, our mental consciousness, astral and beyond, to be able to be experienced through our physical avatar. It's a whole entire multidimensional complex of a being that we have, and that would be for another time to go in depth with. Or you guys can always check it out on my good old series that I always reference, like Body Awareness 101 on the YouTube channel. But the traits here for the causal, this energy center, and what it connects to mentally, emotionally, and then comes into our physical reality, is the connection to our higher light codes with the crown chakra. So the crown chakra is at the top of the head, and then the causal is like that connecting point for the crown to be able to receive through the soul star. The soul star is above the crown. And then you have the stellar gateway above the soul star. The soul star is the chakra of our Akashic records. It is our ability to tap into our timelines and our soul retrieval, shamanic realms, the other side, things of that nature. So it's a whole entire order. There's an order to our being, and there's a balance to it as well. But also with the chakra, it resonates at 426 hertz if you're a sound healer or you like sound healing. And then it is resonant with the color of white. And you can also say a little bit of rainbow as well. So it is also where we are the observer and we observe the bigger picture. So, you know, it's so funny, the terminology that we use unconsciously, but on purpose in this human society. So like, you think about it, you know, we say, you know what, I'm going to take a step back. You know, I'm going to be the observer. I'm going to take a step back. Where's the chakra located? The causal chakra. Located in the back of the head. And then we have a cliche that we say in human society when we're stepping in to be the observer. And that is, I'm going to go ahead and take a step back. I'm going to take a step back and become the observer. And yeah, we're taking a step back mentally into our causal chakra and being the observer. So I don't know, it's very interesting, the things that we say unconsciously, but in a subliminal way. So it's also a chakra or a portal to the angelic realm. So this is where you can access your angelic guides or angelic energy. And it's also where you access what they call peaceful or angelic bliss. So that's that bliss feeling that you feel when it's more of an uplifting, higher dimensional energy, rather than a bliss of, say you just ate a food and you really like that food and it's giving you bliss from like your stomach, your second brain, your gut area. That's a different kind of bliss than like a bliss that's sweeping all through your whole entire body, and there's really like nothing that you ingested or ate or anything that's causing that bliss. That bliss is like pure spiritual bliss. That's the kind of bliss that you receive through having a active and balanced causal chakra. So then when we tie this into the raw channelings tonight, it is the subconscious programming center. So with it being that location, it is the subconscious. And it contains basically the things that we observe, the things that we attract and experience through our perception. And it gets stored in that memory bank, that subconscious container. Now, the thing is with the subconscious is something that is basically autopilot. It's a continuous movie reel, basically. And depending upon what programmings you have in that subconscious container, those programmings are continuously playing on that movie reel in the subconscious. So then that movie reel, that subconscious container, is then going to be continuously projecting into the front chakra when it comes to the mind, which is the conscious mind, the third eye chakra. And then through that projection from the causal to the front at the third eye chakra, we then perceive through our cognitive functioning the reality that we are experiencing. This is why the third eye chakra is known as the manifesting center, or the center of our perception or reality. So depending upon what we have going on in that subconscious, the causal chakra, those patterns and cycles continue to loop on an autopilot replay. And depending upon what it is that's going on in there, you know, say if it's a trauma, or it's a severe attachment, or it's a memory that has caused us to not be able to trust, then that is going to be replaying into your current reality through your subconscious. Now, what that can do is, in psychology, for people that like to study psychology, that can cause what we call cognitive distortions, where, for example, you have a partner in the present, and you've been through so many things from multiple partners that that partner in the present may not even be doing the behaviors that your previous partners were doing. But due to a very slight word or a slight movement or a slight anything that they do that could have caused and looked anything like those experiences of trauma that you went through in the past, it triggers that distortion in that memory. And then due to it still being stored in the subconscious, it then overlaps and distorts the truth of your present reality. So there's many cases of this that go on throughout our human lives, and there's many psychological and other studies regarding this type of stuff when it comes to the subconscious and our cognitive distortions. So also blockages in this chakra, having limited belief systems, cycling of old karmic patterns, and then I can't really see, let me see right here. Let me change the view. Whoa.
He got bigger,
That's
guys.
not it. There we go.
There we go.
And then, yeah, and the last one is attracting toxic cycles of experiences. Oh, and self-grief. So the old attraction of cycles, that kind of ties in with what we were just talking about. If that is still vibratory in our mentalism, in the subconscious mind, then it's bound to manifest into our cognitive and perception. So what we do is we do what we call subconscious reprogramming. And there's a few really awesome people out there that you can watch on YouTube and Gaia and other places, like Bruce Lipton, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and many more. And they talk about subconscious reprogramming. And then self-grief. So this isn't talking about like the organic and healthy version of grief. This is talking about self-grief, where you just are holding on to victimhood mentality. You cannot find yourself to be able to, you know, be present and let go of the things of the past, and to be able to embrace and feel unconditional love in your life. That would be an example of what self-grief would be like. So I just wanted to share that. And then just real brief, I'll cover the third eye. And the third eye chakra, it is 852 hertz. It's indigo color, and it occupies the pituitary and pineal glands. And then it also governs the circadian rhythm, our biological clock and cycles, our hormones and our chemical regulation, and then also our psychic senses and intuitive guidance, astral travel and lucid states, manifesting and projections, and our divine wisdom and insight. So that's the third eye center. And as we saw here, manifesting center and projector. So this is where we perceive our reality. And depending upon how balanced our third eye is, we either perceive things in different degrees of the duality, or if our third eye is balanced, we perceive through wholeness and balance and unification of the dualities. So blocks in the third eye, insomnia, nightmares, confusion on life path, mind control, hard time seeing the bigger picture or solutions, cognitive distortions, limited or degrading thoughts. So I just wanted to share those two chakras with you guys and just give you a little bit of another perception of what it is that Ra is talking about with the mind, as I know the chakras are also something that Ra likes to relate to. Back to you.
Thank you for that. Love and light.
Absolutely.
Love and light.
It's an honor.
You know, Marcus gave you a great description, a different description of ego. Ego is energy. It moves through your subconscious. It's energy that moves from one place that our brain holds information, and it shares it in our conscious, right in the front of our, where we're manifesting and we're making our reality into form. But just as we make our reality into form, we can change the form. We are a manifester and we are an alchemizer. We can change it. We can take energy and we can change it. The divine is just saying, I'm backing you. Think of this. You've got all these banks have other people backing them, and these corporations have other things backing them. But we have the divine that's moving in, through, and as us, backing us. So every time we say, I want to create this, the divine says, your wish is my command. Let's do it. I'm here with you. You might not be there. It might take you a minute to get from the divine being outside of you and you being separate from the divine creator of all that is and that is not. It takes some time, but guess what? You're not on anybody else's time schedule except your own. Except when you get it. When it resonates with you. That's right. Take the watch off your arm. Stop looking at the time clock on your phone. Your phone can do so many things. It don't have to keep track of you. You can press Spotify on your phone and listen to some music. You can listen to the octaves. Listen to this, right? This is what I wrote from part of the LawOfOne when I was listening to it on YouTube. The 7 densities of consciousness. It's part of the LawOfOne series. It says, I wrote Octaves equal the universe. Densities equal the entanglement of life within certain vibrational ranges. Everything begins with the organic, authentic experience. You are the organic, authentic experience. You get to experience the octaves of life. You get to experience it. No matter who you learn it from. Even if when you click off of here and you go onto somebody else's page that's sharing it with you just a little bit differently, it's okay to see it a little bit differently, because you get to tap in to the unknown of you and find out what tickles your fancy, what gives you goosebumps. So the fancy is so tickled that you're creating. That's all Ra is saying. So I'm going to read you something from the New Masters, Adamus St. James. He's also being channeled, right? It says, the master, that's you, that's me. The master understands that the experience of the unknown, the unsaid, is always there. It is a deep and still pool. It is calm. It is quiet. It doesn't carry the attributes that you would typically associate with any human behavior or human identity. It is so pure that it goes unnoticed by all but the true master. The master understands that it simply is. The master understands that experiencing it means simply allowing it into their reality, participating with it, no exceptions. You are the is. Everything, some of them call the is the flow state. Many different statements to mean the same thing. The isness of everything that is and is not is you right now in this now moment. How you experience it, how you see it, how you're writing your story, how you're writing your script, and everyone in it. And on the flip side of that, the duality side is somebody's writing that same script and having you in a different category in their story. It's called multi-dimensional entanglement. Living life, exploring life, having life be a part of you and you be a part of life, all at the same time. And all of a sudden, time falls away. Right? Then it says, sometimes humans want to measure energies and experiences. They want to try to define themselves in certain ways. But the master allows themselves to experience the unknown deep within them without needing to define it. And then it just says, take a breath now. Allow yourself to experience what cannot be said. Sometimes there's no need to say anything. Just be. Sometimes when you want to manifest, sometimes you don't even have to think it, just be. Notice I got a hole in my, did you see how I was just being and I just felt the hole, and there's a hole there. Just be. Some people need to say, well, who am I going to be in this situation? And then they just be it. They just flow into it. I didn't say it was easy. I didn't say it was a cakewalk. Life wasn't presented to us to be easy. Life was promised that we would have changes. That's third density. Karma is third density. As soon as you start moving into fourth density, fifth density, sixth density, karma doesn't exist there. And fourth and fifth and sixth density does not mean that you have to die, guys. It just means that you move into another consciousness. That's what shifting is all about. That's what evolution is all about. You start to see this world differently. I can't say if it's going to make sense to you or not, but you start seeing it differently than you used to see it. You start interacting differently with it than you used to interact. The fourth density consciousness we found out from Ra, that's love. That's where we start to really acknowledge love. What unconditional love is really about. We start seeing it, feeling it, being it. Right? So the questioner asks, what is the difference in terms of energy center activations between a person who represses emotional responses to emotionally charged situations and the person who is balanced and therefore truly unswayed by emotionally charged situations? Did you get that? I am Ra. This query contains an incorrect assumption. The truly balanced entity, no situation would be emotionally charged. Is he saying that that's the incorrect assumption? With this understood, we may say the following. The repression of emotions depolarizes the entity insofar as it then chooses not to use the catalytic action of space-time present in a spontaneous matter, thus dimming the energy center. Did you get that? You're supposed to have emotion. You may not have, you shouldn't react. You should have an emotion and have your discernible moments move through the flow. Definitely you need to feel. You were given feelings. You were given all these attributes to assess the realities that you're making. You can only do those through your feelings and your emotions. That's the divine wanted to feel that, wanted to see that. It wanted to move through that. Get this. You can bypass it. That's a free will choice. Okay? Then Ross says, there is, however, some polarization towards positive if the cause of this repression is considered for other selves. If you do unto others as you assume that they're going or intend for them to do to you, then it's balance. You're allowing them to have feelings and emotions about as just like you're having feelings and emotions about the same responses. That's balance. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you didn't feel that's what Ra was saying, it's okay. Whatever you feel Ra was saying, then flow with it. It cannot be wrong or right. It's just how the divine is speaking to you now. Right? Then Ra goes on to say, the entity which has worked long enough with the catalyst to be able to feel the catalyst, but not find it necessarily to express reaction, is not yet balanced, but suffers no depolarization due to the transparency of its experimental continuum. Thus, the gradual increase in the ability to observe one's reaction and to know the self will bring the self ever closer to true balance. You got to feel the shit you got to feel. You got to feel it. You got to discern it. You got to decide where it flows through you for your highest and greatest good. If it's for your highest and greatest good, and if it's not, then you have to decide what you want to do with it as the alchemist that you are. Patience is requested and suggested, for the catalyst is intense upon your plane, and its use its use must be appreciated over a period of consistent learning, teaching. We're here on Earth School for learning and for teaching. The teacher is teaching and the student is learning till such time that the teacher begins to be the student and the student begins to be the teacher. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. That's the pendulum swinging all the way forward and then swinging all the way back and then starting at a point. Usually the point is you, and it swings out again. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Hi, Kiki. The questioner says, how can a person know when he is unswayed by an emotional charged situation, or if he is repressing the flow of emotions, or if he is imbalanced and truly unswayed? I am Ra. We have spoken to this point. Therefore, we shall briefly iterate that to the balanced entity, no situation has an emotional charge, but is simply a situation like any other in which the entity may or may not observe an opportunity to be of service. The closer an entity comes to the attitude, I need to slow down a bit. The closer an entity comes to this attitude, the closer an entity is to balance. You may note that it is not our recommendation that reactions to catalysts be repressed or suppressed unless such reactions would be a stumbling block, not constant with the law of one. With the law of one to another. It is far and far better to allow the experience to express itself in order that the entity may make a fuller use of the catalyst. So when things happen to you, you can always say, why me? That might be your stumbling block. Or you might ask another question. Who am I to be in this during this catalyst? What is this moment showing me? Who must I help in this moment? Or asking the question, should I even take a moment? Right? What moment is needed? But get this, you can always ask, why me? Be ready for the answer. Back to you, Marcus. Whew. Whew.
I've been shown more and more lately that I have the opportunity to choose for myself how I want to view my life and what I want to put my trust in. And it's really interesting to see, through that observer space, where I can subtly integrate the knowledge that I know, the knowledge that I have, and choose not to take recommendations or choose to take what is the normal at my own free will. And the reason why I bring that up is just like, with the medical system, with taking care of my father at home, recovering from a brain hemorrhage 5 months ago. And it's really shown me this. It's a prime example of it. In the sense of, well, number one, his nutrition having ingredients in it that are proven scientifically and through studies and everything else in the magical in the world that they caused, cancer and disease in the being. And my dad was getting like severe mucus buildup from it, inflammation as well. And, I really just like, I saw what it was doing. And then on top of that, it was also causing clogging issues for him in his tube feed. So it's a good example of just like, yeah, it was challenging for sure to experience the clogging continuously, him having to go to the ER to get it unclogged, and just seeing the mucus build up and everything else. Of course, that was challenging, but through that challenging time, it allowed me to really see for myself, like, okay, this is an area where I can actually take a little bit more of my power and my dad's power back for us, in the sense of we don't really need to depend on or lean on this medical system as much as it's portrayed. Now, yes, they can give us advice if they want, they can give recommendations, but they're not the end all be all when it comes to the health of ourself. And just remembering, like, we have that free will choice to be able to use the knowledge and the wisdom that we have. And if we know that there's a holistic or a alternative, quote unquote, practice, herbal remedy, or anything that does provide the care and the treatment that we truly need, you have that free will to remember that knowledge and to utilize it, even if you are in a medical condition. And it's been really beautiful and really great to be able to take that power back just a little bit in that way, with giving my dad plant-based and whole nutrition instead of stuff that's causing mucus and inflammation and other things in his body during his recovery process. Because I mean, like, what good is it to try to heal someone and allow them to heal by giving them, toxic and acidic things that are going to cause even more side effects on the body and on the being? So yeah, just, really remembering that, we have free will, and it's okay to use the knowledge that you have. Even if a professional or a high-end corporation or whatever it may be is trying to portray to you that you may not know the truth, or you may not know what they know, it's possible that you do, and you may even know a little bit more. And for me, it was also an educational opportunity when I was at the hospital visiting my father during that period. A lot of education to nurses and doctors about holistic healing and different natural remedies like reishi mushroom. And then I was also practicing Reiki on him 5 days in a row in the hospital. And it shifted a lot of perspectives from the nurses to the doctors. And again, last thing I'm going to say, because we are going on about 2 hours now, and it's about midnight. Last thing I'm going to say, though, is like, allow these examples that I'm sharing to be, stories and reflections of inspiration for you, to know that, like, if you are a practitioner, if you are a herbalist, if you are someone that is very well educated and well versed in these fields, do not be afraid to utilize what you know when it comes to you and your loved ones, especially if you can see that, maybe pharmaceuticals or maybe whatever it may be that's being done in the other fashion is just not cutting it. It's not healing the person. It's not giving them the type of things that we're looking for. Please take that step. You have that free will and you're supported. You're supported by the all. You are supported by Source, and you're supported by any other type of beings that you would like to think of when it comes to your support system.
Yes. Your oneness, your wholeness, your divine. With that, I pulled something out that I had listened to about Ra from a different perspective, or from not a different perspective, but the same. And I love the way it was. I hope I wrote it down correctly. As Ra states about the law of one. The law of one, though beyond the limitations of name, as you call vibratory sound complexes, may be approximated by stating that all things are one, that there is no polarity, no right, no wrong, no disharmony, but only identity. All is one, and that is love, light, light, love, and the infinite creator. We are the infinite creator. We are the one. I mean, we are on this earth plane. I am on this earth plane right now, expressing as Sandra right now in my now moment. And Marcus is expressing as the divine, as the law of one right now. Imagine, could you just imagine yourself being this great ball of everything and nothing all at the same time, expressing all 8 billion people on this planet, or more than 8 billion people by now. Can you imagine? Could you just sit back and just close your eyes and imagine being the divine, seeing, feeling, touching, being all of us all at once? expressing all of us all at once. No good, no bad. No right, no wrong. Now, in this earthly realm, yeah, we do have a right and wrong, because in third density, those are our GPSs, how we get to what we want to create. And what I want to create as my story might not be my next door neighbor's way that they want to create. Doesn't make them any less part of me as wholeness. It just makes them expressive of themselves. And I might not like the way, they painted their house. But if I don't make it my intention to constantly focus on them, I can have my own story without ever looking at their house. Or ever being having an intention to be part of that story with something negative to say to them all the time, or listening to them clamor to me. It's about our stories. It's about our intention. Intention plus energy equals creating. What are you creating with your intention and the energy that you're given to create your story? Are you really loving your neighbor? Love thy neighbor. Unconditionally saying that's their story over there. I love them because they are a part of me, of that same stardust that the divine created with me. They're that stardust as well, but they're doing them over there. They're part of my other self expressing. Now, it doesn't mean that you let them shit on you, but through your feelings and your emotions about what they're doing, you know whether to, like, hey, is it time to move neighborhoods? Do you know what I mean? You have all these determinate factors that you get to utilize. And sometimes you don't even have to take a foot forward. The moment you start thinking that you want to be someplace else for your highest and greatest good, things start happening for you and doors start opening up for you. You just have to decide if you're going to step through that door, or if you're going to spend a whole lot of time fighting with Joe Blow next door trying to make them do what you want them to do. Or if you're going to, see the go, okay, I love you over there. You're that other version of me. You do you. I'm going to step through the store and it's time to sell my house. And then you move on to better, hopefully to greater and better things for you. It's not that we avoid the catalysts or the activators that activate change in our life. We look at it, we see it, we feel it, we experience it, and then we say, hey, where is this going to take me now? Who do I need to be in it? Why is this opening up to me? Or even the best question, why does this shit keep coming back around to me? Well, that means if it keeps showing up, it might keep showing up as a different person or as a slightly different situation, but you can notice that it keeps showing up, then that means you have to sit down with it. Wait a minute, I changed that. You don't have to do a damn thing. You could sit down with it and break it down for yourself and say, well, okay, what do I need to do next? Why does this keep showing up for me? Who do I need to be in this next version? Those type of questions. Or you could just simply ask, why me? You'll get an answer with that as well. It might be more of a captive why me, but that's okay. You got to start somewhere. That's all the law of one is giving you choices. Out of an infinite array of choices. You get the choices. And back to you, Marcus, because I'm getting tired. I will have to admit that I am getting tired now.
I am ready to close. So with that being said, thank you guys for joining us for episode 32.
What a wonderful episode.
Mm-hmm.
The Ra has been giving us a lot of energy about our energy. That's what how the divine wanted me to say it. So I'm going to say it. A lot of energy about our energy. Grow, expand, learn. That's what we're meant to be here to do, is shift and expand. Shift, expand, and evolve. Thank you for being, episode 32. All righty. Come on back for episode 33. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be right here. You come on in. Drop in and do some more sifting and assorting through the unknown of you. I'm excited. Are you? Peace.
Episode 33. What a special number that will be. Maybe we'll have a little something for you guys. Maybe like a meditation or a little light language activation meditation. Because 33 is a very beautiful number, that's for sure. But until then, you guys will have to tap in and see. Wholeness and balanced love. Have a blessed night or a blessed day.
One love.
One love.